Gentleman yields back. I'll now go to Arizona, Ms. Lesko.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you to all of you for being here to testify in front of us today. I have a bit of breaking news for the committee. I've been informed that the energy efficiency advocates and appliance industry groups have reached an agreement that, if implemented by Department of Energy, should preserve a full line of gas appliances with the features consumers enjoy and inspect. So I want to thank the members of this committee that voted for my Save Our Gas Stoves Act. I hope that the Department of Energy has taken notice of my bill, the Save Our Gas Stoves Act, and the strong bipartisan vote it received on the House floor. I'm proud that we worked across the aisle to pass the bill out of the House. My hope is that this agreement will show that the Biden administration has no intention of banning gas stoves. This would be a win for common sense and the American people. EPCA, the Energy Policy and Conservation Act, is broken, and environmental activists are exploiting the fact through sue and settle backroom deals, and I do think that this must end. That's why I'm glad to sponsor and once again introduce a new bill to protect consumer choice on all appliances and plumbing products. I don't know about you, but I hate when the federal government restricts the water pressure in my shower head and messes with the effectiveness of my dishwasher. Unless we pass comprehensive reforms, we'll be right back here dealing with the same broken process. The reforms in my bill are long overdue. This bill will address future attempts by the Biden administration or any administration to impose regulatory overreach and reduce consumer choices. Most importantly, this bill will finally establish a minimum standard for energy savings for any future rulemaking. We are putting real energy-saving dollars back into the energy efficiency standards. The bill is common sense. Energy efficiency is a good thing, but only if it helps the consumer save money and the product still works. The bill will establish the standard that any future rule must save the consumer at least 10%. More importantly, it will establish a low-income household index where the savings for low-income households must be significant. Finally, the bill will only allow future rules that are technologically feasible and economically justified. Mr. Mesner, I believe AHAM was part of the agreement I spoke about. Given your experience with the gas stoves rule, why is it important we reform EPCA, the Energy Policy and Conservation Act, with common sense approaches?
Thank you, Congresswoman, and thank you for your leadership with the Save Our Gas Stoves Act. EPCA, I think the process that we've kind of been going through and seeing some of the proposed rules that have come out by the Department of Energy just has exposed some of the need to reform EPCA. EPCA has a lot of the things that people talk about that are important about protecting features and consumer choice and economic justification and technological feasibility. It has all that in the law, but it's just that DOE has to consider these factors. So over the last 30 years, it's become apparent if DOE is going to be proposing some rules that are out of step with some of these considerations, that those considerations should be, there should be more requirements that they need to address these things instead of just consider them and then move forward with potentially standards that doesn't protect the features that people want. If they don't have products that people want to buy, then we've kind of all failed.
Well, thank you. Mr. Lieberman, can you comment on the importance of establishing a firm, measurable standard for energy savings?
The upside of these standards for consumers is the energy or water saving. Mm-hmm. That has to be weighed against the downside, a higher upfront cost, potential diminution of product features, performance, reliability, longevity. And if the upside is very, very small, then it's quite likely that these are standards that are going to be more trouble than they're worth. For example, the proposed gas stove or the proposed stove rule for gas stove was estimated to save gas cooktop stove owners $1.51 per year, and that's been revised downward. I've heard we'll have to see what this new negotiated agreement comes up with. That's a very, very modest upside given the risks, especially for people who like cooking with gas and are concerned that gas stoves will have to eliminate some of their favorable features. So benefiting consumers ought to be pretty obvious, and having a minimum savings is part of that.
Well, thank you, and I yield back.